Beth Ann.
And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It's my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. You know, there was a song back in the day making light of keeping the boys down on the farm after experiencing the fun and the frolic of life if they had loose change in their pockets. And the song went, how you gonna keep 'em down on the farm after they've seen Paris? How you gonna keep 'em away from Broadway, jazzing and painting the town? How you gonna keep 'em away from harm? That's a mystery. They'll never want to see a rake or a plow, and who the deuce can parlez-vous a cow? How you gonna keep 'em down on the farm after they've seen Paris? My daddy used to play that on the piano. I remember that song. I didn't know all the words to it, but I remembered that song from Daddy playing it on the piano. But lately on CSC Talk Radio, we've been making a big deal out of Made in America. Well, isn't our food the most important commodity to have made in America? As we've talked before, rural America is under attack. It's about controlling the land. Attack in the good old USA. Agriculture is being hijacked by big corp agriculture. And unfortunately, the D.C. occupiers occupying offices and cutting deals, they certainly don't believe, they certainly don't, their deals don't benefit the small independent farmer, but are squeezing them out of business. One way or another, they push it to do away with the American farmers. That is the push. They won't be going to Paris to have a good time. They'll be going to work in town, if there is any, or they'll be going to the welfare line. It's sad, and it's dangerous to lose our independent farmers, ranchers, and producers here in America. An attack on U.S. agriculture is an attack on all America, including the consumers. You need to pay attention. Much has been going on in this industry of late, and I asked Bill Bullard of RCAF USA to join us today and to help us understand the seriousness and just exactly where we are right now with some things that have happened in the government as they take it over or assisting the takeover of American agriculture. Bill, welcome back. You're not in Paris today, are you?
No, not at all, but glad to be here, Beth Ann. Thank you.
We're glad to have you back. We've missed you, and that is the truth. We have missed you. Lots have been going on. I've been getting emails. I've been getting articles and news releases from different directions, and I wanted you to kind of get us up to par as to what's really going on. Get us up to scoop. I'm going to start with the first one that I sent to you the other day whenever I decided I needed to get you back on. And this is coming from OCM, the Organization for Competitive Markets, and they were talking about the nail in the coffin for the USDA formally eliminating GIPSA. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I wanted you to kind of explain to us exactly what GIPSA is and what's going on.
Well, about 100 years ago, Congress recognized that the multinational meat packers had such a stranglehold over the marketing outlets for livestock producers that they passed the Packers and Stockyards Act of 1921. And that act was to prevent those meat packers that possessed and yielded tremendous buying power. It would prevent them from engaging in unfair and deceptive and discriminatory practices against independent producers. In other words, it was designed to prevent the packers from giving preferences to their friends in the supply chain in order to strengthen their positions and then to begin eliminating the independent producer one by one. And so that law was passed again in 1921, but the U.S. Department of Agriculture has never written the rules to properly implement those prohibitions. As a result, that act has been essentially unenforceable, and we have been working, as other organizations have, trying to get the Grain Inspection Packers and Stockyards Administration, which is where the acronym GIPSA comes from, trying to get them to promulgate regulations so that we could begin to protect the producers who have been harmed tremendously over the past several decades, causing many, as you said, to exodus the industry. We've lost over 500,000 cattle producers just within half a lifetime now. We've seen about 80% of our marketing outlets close their doors. These are meatpacking plants. We've lost 25% of our local auction yards in this country, and we've lost 75% of our independent feedlots. And so, as you said, what they're doing is setting the stage to eliminate producers out of the industry. But of course, they can't eliminate them all. So the large multinational meat packers are trying to pick and choose who will be the last people standing within the production chains that the meat packers will control from birth to plate. They've already accomplished this in the poultry industry. They control that industry from the breeding hens to the egg-laying hens to the meat all the way to the consumer. They do it now in the hog industry. They've eliminated 75% of all hog producers just since 1992. And those who are left are now marching to the directive of the multinational meat packers who tell them how to feed their hogs, when to feed their hogs, how much to feed their hogs, when to market their hogs. In other words, the independent farmer is no longer independent in either of those two industries. So the cattle industry is the last frontier left. And now, as USDA has refused to implement the rules necessary to enforce that act, the meat packers are acting with impunity to cheat cattle producers and other livestock producers in the industry, forcing them to their knees, forcing them out of business, and USDA is facilitating it. And it's really a shame, but our government is helping the multinational meat packers to eliminate producers, to build a supply chain that the meat packers want and have designed on their own. And the USDA has now closed what used to be a standalone agency that, as a result of being a standalone agency, had more authority than an agency that's rolled into another agency. And that's what they've done with GIPSA. They've rolled the standalone Grain Inspection Packers and Stockyards Administration into what is a marketing program of the USDA through the Agricultural Marketing Service. And so now GIPSA is subservient to the authority within the Agricultural Marketing Service, meaning they have pushed it down into the basement so it can't do anything effectively. And that's where that agency has been for many decades now. They haven't done anything effectively because they are afraid to act, because the USDA as a whole has been holding the hands of the multinational meat packers, helping them to eliminate all these pesky farmers out here in America.
So we've got about 30 seconds here before we head into a break, but I was going to ask you, Sonny Purdue's been, Secretary Purdue then has been a little bit of a disappointment. He's not been standing up for this then, for the farmers and the independent farmers and ranchers, has he? Not like we'd hoped.
Absolutely not. Unfortunately, Sonny Purdue has been a mouthpiece for the multinational meat packers and their trade association, and he has completely ignored the interests of independent farmers and ranchers in America.
Well, we will send this show today to President Donald Trump and see what he does about it, because I know, surely he knows, if you want to have your steel made in America, you want to have your food made in America, and opening this all up is it's really encouraging the outside industry, the industry to go outside the United States, which it already has to some degree. We're heading into a break. We're going to visit with Bill Bullard today of RCAF USA. We have a lot of things that are going on, including the Farm Bill and some other things we want to talk about with trade and everything with agriculture. 877-895-5410 is the number to call if you have any questions or comments. That's 877-895-5410. And Bill and Beth Ann, we're going to be right back.